Beneath the Shed, the murder of Marcia Norman. She was 82 years old. She lived alone, and the man she trusted to fix her home knew exactly where she slept. On April 1st, Marcia Norman made dinner. She poured wine. She welcomed someone she believed she knew. After that, nothing. Her phone went silent. Her medication went untouched. Her car stayed parked in the driveway. 8 days later, investigators would uncover her body buried beneath a freshly built shed, encased in concrete, miles from her home. Her wrists bound, her ankles bound. Her injuries spread across hours. This wasn't a crime of impulse. It was preparation. It was access. It was time. Tonight, we're not just asking what happened to Marcia Norman. We're asking how warning signs were missed, how a convicted offender was walking free, and how trust itself became the weapon. Because some crimes don't begin with violence. They begin with familiarity. I'm Johnny Black, and this is Unsaid Case Files. Marcia Norman lived in Tenino, Washington, a small town where neighbors recognize each other's cars and routines go mostly unchanged for decades. She was a grandmother, a mother, a friend. To those who knew her, Marcia was independent, practical, and careful. Even at 82, she lived on her own, managed her medications, kept her appointments, and stayed in close contact with her family. She wasn't reckless. She wasn't naive. And she wasn't isolated, which is why April 1st raised alarms almost immediately. Marcia stopped answering her phone. She didn't take her medication. She didn't leave the house. For a woman who followed routine almost religiously, silence was not normal. Family members began checking in, then worrying, then driving to her home. Her wallet was still there. Her car hadn't moved. Her pill organizer showed the last dose taken days earlier. Marcia hadn't planned to go anywhere, but one detail stood out. Her Apple ID revealed text messages. Messages arranging dinner on April 1st. Dinner with her handyman, a man named Jeffrey Ziz. Jeffrey Ziz was 47 years old. For nearly 2 years, he had worked as Marcia Norman's handyman. He fixed things, built things, showed up regularly. He was familiar, trusted, and increasingly present. To Marcia's family, Ziz was simply the guy who helped around the house. But there was something Marcia hadn't shared publicly, something that had disturbed her deeply. Weeks earlier, she had told her son about a night she woke up to find Ziz standing at the foot of her bed. Not knocking, not calling out, standing. She told him to leave. She told him it was inappropriate. She told him their relationship would remain strictly professional. And according to investigators, she meant it. But the incident was never reported to police. Like so many boundary violations, it stayed in the realm of discomfort instead of danger. Ziz, when later questioned, admitted it happened. He said he rubbed her shoulder. He said he wanted to talk. He admitted he had romantic thoughts about her. An 82-year-old woman, asleep, alone. On April 1st, Ziz went to Marcia Norman's home for dinner. Wine was poured, food was shared. According to Ziz, he left around 9 p.m., went home, and went to bed. But records told a different story. License plate readers captured his truck moving through Olympia at 3:04 a.m., then again at 7:03 a.m. When confronted, Ziz changed his story. He admitted he returned to Marcia's house after midnight, then again before morning. First for tools, then for a trailer. But Marcia Norman never contacted anyone again after that night. She never took her medication. She never answered her phone. Investigators began to suspect that April 1st wasn't just the last time she was seen. It was the night she died. Detectives searched Ziz's home. Inside, they found something chilling. A 5-page typed document. A meticulously planned burglary and sexual assault scenario involving an adult woman, referred to only as a customer. It wasn't fiction. It wasn't vague. It was methodical. Meanwhile, Ziz disappeared. He borrowed his roommate's truck, drove hundreds of miles east, and vanished into remote wilderness between Idaho and Montana. The truck was later found damaged, possibly from hitting an elk. Ziz was arrested at a motel in Missoula. By then, investigators were tracking something else. Heavy equipment. Detectives learned Ziz had rented an excavator and trailer shortly after Marcia vanished. The rental company's GPS told them where it went. One location. A property in Olympia. Ziz had built a shed there the day after Marcia went missing. The homeowner knew Marcia Norman. Marcia had recommended Ziz. Cadaver dogs were brought in. Both alerted. The shed was removed. The ground was excavated. Beneath it, concrete. Inside the concrete, human remains. Marcia Norman. Wrapped. Bound. Buried. The coroner would later call it the worst case he'd seen in 25 years. Marcia had been bound at the wrists and ankles with black Velcro straps. She suffered blunt force trauma, penetrating head injuries, wounds inflicted over hours. Some injuries were caused by a nail gun. The coroner used one word to describe it: torture. Jeffrey Ziz was not unknown to the system. In 2022, he pleaded guilty to multiple child sex offenses involving family members. He was sentenced to more than 8 years in prison, but he served less than 1. He was released under Washington's special sex offender sentencing alternative. The court documents claimed he was truthful, that he had no prior criminal history, that releasing him would benefit the community. He was supposed to be supervised. He wasn't even listed on the sex offender registry. By April 2025, he was alone with an 82-year-old woman, and then she was dead. In court, Marcia's granddaughter spoke. She asked not to be shown, not to be named. She asked only that the judge see Marcia as a person, not a statistic, not a headline, a woman deeply loved. The judge denied bail, calling the allegations shocking, planned, executed. Marcia Norman did everything right. She set boundaries. She trusted professionals. She lived carefully. But trust doesn't stop violence. And warning signs don't always scream. Sometimes they whisper. A presence in a bedroom. A line crossed and uncrossed. A system that decides someone is safe enough. This case file isn't closed, but the damage is done. And the question lingers, quiet, uncomfortable, unsaid. How many warnings does it take before protection matters more than optimism? I'm Johnny Black, and this has been Unsaid Case Files.